Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. I hope everyone's having a happy Friday. Friday, yay! But a lot of people work on the weekend, so I don't know. Anyway, I hope that everyone's having a good day wherever you are. Maybe it's not even Saturday where you are. Maybe it's Sunday or Thursday, wherever you are. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Now, for those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes to help you understand why everything's happening, right? Again, a lot of times we're like, why am I stuck to a person I don't even like? And that's what happens with karmic relationships over time. It's like you love them, but you also don't like them. And, you know, the mother wound, a lot of times, if we don't heal that wound, we always get it in a partner. Sooner or later, sometimes the trauma is with the father, but I see a lot within the mother wound. And it's because the first attachment, what kind of attachment was your mother able to have? Now, why am I even talking about this? Because on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but it's about you healing, really, not even about whether you can have the connection. However, there's many different realities that play it at one time. So why couldn't you be with that person? If there's many different realities, one of those realities has got to work, right? Now, is it something that you can do in this lifetime? Because karmic means that two people are, contributing to the imbalance because you wouldn't be stuck to a person. So, yeah, there's always something that you can do. However, everyone has free will. So it depends on whether the person wants to. Now, whether the person wants to heal or do they just keep getting in their own way because they don't know any different? Soulmates teach. They come in for a day, a season, a lifetime. Don't mind my bunny ears. I just didn't want to do my hair today. I said, I'm not doing it. And the thing is, when you straighten your hair and you have really curly hair, when you wake up, it looks like a shit show. And so I'm like, I'm not doing my hair and I don't have a headband. So this is what it is today. I said, I don't give a fuck. You know what? And I used to be one of those people that needed to have everything in place, the nails done, everything at one time. It's like, I'd rather be consistent and grounded and connect and be real. Sometimes I'll look beautiful, just not today. So let's take a peek at the underlining energy. That always tells us why everyone does what they do. We want to know why. Or what's influencing. Are you influencing? Let's see. It depends. Sometimes it's to honor. Honor. And one more. And one more. Apathy. So that's the thing, that it's always been this. It's never been any different. You're connected to somebody that it's a soul relationship. So really, they should honor you. There is was an expectation because, hey, we have a strong connection. You give, I know you have feelings for me. I have feelings for you. We've had moments where we've talked about this. However, that's maybe 25% of the time. 75% of the time, however, this person showed that they didn't care. So it's like they gave you just enough. And because you took the bait, there was an expectation that this person had, is what I'm feeling. So this is the thing. You're still like, I want a fucking explanation. Thank you so much, Britt. They said there you couldn't even You know what I mean? Like at this point, it's like you're like you got to give me an explanation of why you do what you do, and it's like this person's too prideful. This person has like, but there's also an element like where I feel like this person wants you to get mad. They want you to make the first move. And I don't know why I feel that way. It's just because the person keeping it in a place of disequilibrium, which means imbalance because they're being prideful, as I said. So what they really did was now you don't trust them. This person wants you to get mad. They want you to react, because understand they're sitting in a place of hostility and actually self-righteous. This is the energy that you know them as, even though you both know that this was a spiritual connection. Thing is, now your person's getting impatient. So why all of a sudden did they want that? Are they pissed off? Well, I feel like there was a sense that they disrespected you because they're selfish and they're stubborn, and they thought that you were like a little naive to the whole thing. And so I'll scare you. I'll scare you where you'll become obsessed with me. But really, all that they did was disappoint you. They wanted to form an attachment. This person loves attachments where they make the other person powerless. Thing is, it's that you, I feel like, didn't play their game. So the underlying energy is this person is still sitting there in an arrogant energy, but really what's underneath it is they're getting hostile. So they are like, I need to figure out how to come towards you without giving you anything. Really, I mean, because why would the person be like that? Like they're stubborn. There's an arrogance there. It's like they had an expectation of who they thought that you were and what you were going to do, the same as you had an expectation of what you thought that they were going to do. And they knew goddamn well. They knew that what you were like what you expected, which is what this person likes to do. They're very childish, they're very stubborn, they want to create the attachment, so you run after them so that you're like giving your energy to them. And the thing is, the expectation of what you did again ran flat, the same as what you're looking at. You're like, well, flat, it's what you gave me, it's flat. It's like, so understand, it's like a lot of cat and mouse game, and a lot of like, like this person is like, almost puts themselves in a competition with relationship, and the thing is, it's like this person pretends not to see. They know that you're very intuitive. They know that you're very intuitive the same way that they're very intuitive, but they're going to play stupid. They're going to play that they don't know. It's again where I feel like Spirit's saying, well, you're very spiritual, and you're going to sit there and you're going to act like you don't know what's going on with this person, that they're disrespecting you just because of a connection. So it's like, this is spirit, where really it's like there's a sense that this person is always really slow to act, expecting, again, wanting to trigger you, knowing exactly what they do, and it's just a vicious cycle that this person did over and over and over again when we really ask. But it's like this person, like, again, like there is right on top, right on top. My ego and got hurt, so they wanted revenge, which is what this person does. It's like, because it's about ownership, expectation. This is how you know that it's a karmic mate. A karmic mate has expectation. They come in 100 miles an hour, promise everything, under deliver. Again, giving you just enough. Just enough. And you can say, well, what can I do to not have that? And I'm going to tell you, because it's not going to be in the cards. What you do is when a person comes in like that, like 1,000 miles an hour. You have boundaries. This person knew by how much you gave them. They came in and you were like, well, I would talk to them like once a month and they're my friend. We treat them like friends. Now this person doesn't have any friends, not ones that they're attracted to. So no, but it's like you said, well, it's okay. I don't want to put demands on the person. I don't want to put, and spirit says you didn't need to, but you didn't need to talk to them for the half an hour that they wanted to talk to you, the 15 minutes that every single time that they reached out, if it was once a month, once a week, once, whatever the inconsistency was, that you gave them the time, which that's where they're like, oh, you're good. I don't need to think about you. That's where you went wrong because people like think of a CEO. Do you think that they have time to talk to everyone that's not going to invest in them? No. This is a second chakra imbalance on your part as it is on that person's part because we already see the shady shit with that person. But you say, what did I do? What did I do? And spirit said, you're out of alignment. Like it's again, you're not valuing yourself. So underactive chakra, overactive chakra. Overactive chakra, you're going to see addictions. You're going to see, in and out behavior. You're going to see just inconsistency. Where this person wants you to believe that miracles happen, and maybe for a long time you thought that miracles would happen. You again, soulmate relationships, there is a sense of that because when it's good, it's really good. So don't spirit says don't get caught up because understand this person likes to play games. They like to gaslight. Part of that charm and them coming in and forming that emotional connection, it's surface. And if you're not taking care of yourself enough, filling your cup up all the way, second chakra, how to create the balance, well, spirit says you're going to give that person way too much time, energy, and they're going to disrespect you. I feel you leaving me behind. And I feel like that's the thing. This person doesn't really believe that they can have love. That's why a person does all this. A person has pride, they have a big ego. All those are shadows, and staying in a vicious cycle of doing the same thing over and over and over again because they were so sure that you would be subservient, that you would react. After a while, they didn't care what the reaction was. You're hostile, great, you'll react. You're happy, great, we'll get back together. Like they didn't care. This is a person's a master manipulator, and that's the thing. They say that you're angry. This person's like, please don't be angry with me forever. And the reason why is because you have boundaries now. And you're like, because we clash. It's like because they want and what I want is two different things. And this person down deep inside, it goes back to them not really feeling good enough. So when a person doesn't feel good enough about themselves, they can't make you look better. They can't treat you well. They can't because that the vulnerability and the vulnerability of, hey, I give you too much power and, you can hurt me. You can abandon me. So again, we can see that where this person's head is at, but is that really what they feel? And you'd be like, understand, what do you mean? It's like, well, there's the shadow part of themselves. And that shadow part of themselves is where they detach. They don't like aspects of themselves that they need to heal. And so the thing is, they look for it within a relationship, to be honest with you. Person like this that's fragmented, you need to give them the energy. And if you don't give them the energy, which is the attention, whatever they want you to do, when they want you to do it, how you want it to do it. It's like a person that like won't sustain themselves. I wish you knew how grateful I am to have met you. And I feel like it's like you show this person a different way. They never thought, even though they don't like the fact that you disconnected, there's still this spiritual connection. And the fact that you stood up to this person has respect But the thing is, let's face it, all they know is how to have an unhealthy attachment. This person doesn't know how to have a healthy attachment. And that's why I guess I started off by saying, like, the mother wound. If a person like has that wound, they're going to have like a first and second chakra imbalance. They're going to have all their imbalances are going to all their chakras are going to be imbalanced. But those first two main ones are because they're going to hold shame, guilt, resentment, fear because of the lack of attachment. So you know that they either the parent was caught up in their own relationship that was imbalanced, or they just couldn't emotionally give to that person, or that kid had to be that person had to be the parent and they weren't allowed to be the kid. But there's an unhealthy attachment where this person continues to do it, and that's what feels normal to them. Understand it, they don't get good results though, and after a while we have to realize what feels good is imbalanced when we have a second chakra imbalance. I mean, addiction feels good too when you're in it, you know. This person, it's not like they don't have feelings for you. You're the first person on their mind when they wake up in the morning. But a lot is about control, and that's the thing. When you detached, I can't stand the thought of you with someone else, you know. But then the thing is, they entertain, other people sometimes, and there is someone keeping me from you, where no one keeps anyone from anyone. It's like we make a choice. This person, like, doesn't give to anyone because they're always hiding somebody. It's because they have a lot of unhealthy habits and behaviorisms, and it's that they're battling inner demons. The person can't be a demon, understand that's a part of their shadow self, and that's the thing. They have a very like dark part of themselves because they've never healed. And so what happens is when a person doesn't heal and they have one bad relationship, well, then they go into another bad relationship and then another bad. So this person has learned to navigate their relationships by control, by emotionally controlling second chakra. Emotional, this person is detached, disassociated from feeling, but they're not. Understand, because you're the first thing on their mind in the morning, but they don't have a healthy attachment to it. It's, if anything, they get triggered. And the thing is, I had expectation of what I thought you were going to do, which is probably like some fantasy of like being in bed all day with this person, like, and you not having a life. You know what I mean? It's like it's off. And it's because this person, it's not 100% grounded. They're living detached. When a person lives detached, they wear a mask and they create that illusion. So I'm not going to give you anything. And they really expected that you were going to become subservient to them. But this is all because of the fact that they've never healed that attachment, had one shit relationship after another shit relationship after another after another after another. So unfortunately, this person has like, I'm attracted to you, but it's not elevated. They don't know what to do with it. And that's what I said, why we always want to look, because understand, you wouldn't attract this person unless you had blockages, because you're a mirror of what comes into your life. I always want to look and see what this person is doing now, right now, as we speak. Um, well, again, they're running around and having sex with other people. Second chakra imbalance. Again, I'm just going to go to somebody else to get my supply because I never heal, you know. But it put somebody else in a place of disempowerment, because you, by standing up to them and not like going along with this, well, it's again what you put them in a place of disempowerment, because what you're saying is no. It's like, so understand, they're gonna go to somebody else and create that fantasy, that illusion. But what we know is that that can't last. It doesn't last because it's a lie. The whole fucking thing is a lie. Second chakra imbalance. My friend said, he said, I'm going to write a play. He's a playwright. He goes, I'm going to make it second chakra in balance. Like, because it's people have a second chakra in balance. They're not, there's no identity there. What that is I'm chasing addiction. I'm chasing like the facade, creating the illusions. I'm not grounded. I'm telling you, second chakra in balance, right? It's all about the self-image, because understand that when a person doesn't, that they have to create the illusion to make you perceive. But understand that's time that you should be actually creating yourself. And so if a person isn't creating themselves, then they're always coming from a place of lack. And that place of lack is, I don't like this about myself, because they don't manifest anything, because their way is to control other people, get into a relationship, and they do it by obviously not giving that much. But understand the back and forth, the intermittent manipulation creates brain damage. When a person comes into your life and they emotionally give you, and then they leave and they abandon you, it's again, we see paranoia, you see anxiety, you see it, because again, it swells the amygdala. Like, you're then looking, you become hyper vigilant because of the manipulation. It's like this person's fucked up. It's like you would have to really have boundaries, and it's just because they haven't done the healing. And a person that's like that, like I said, it's all about creating the illusion, because once you show them who they truly are, it's like they can't deal with it. They can't deal with it, because we all have a God part of self, everyone, even that person. It's just the ego takes over, and we become more and more fragmented, and then we become more in survival mode. And this is really what spiritual warfare is, when we, like, again, turn on ourselves. you know Again, we're obviously not honoring the God inside of us, the divine that allows us to heal. This person is like too busy creating a scenario. They would need to do like brain-based therapy. They would need to do, because there's paranoia. That person lives that reality. It's like, that's the thing. It's like we see things as we are. We don't see things as they are. So we see what we look for, and a lot is unconscious. So if you were always left out, let's just say, or you felt like you were always ignored, and that was something that was really hurtful for you, and maybe you were never picked on the gym team. That was me. I was never picked. Like, I was always the last one to get picked. No one wanted me, because I wasn't good. I had no coordination. All my energy's up in the head. So it's like white girl can't dance. You know what I mean? Literally. It's like I dance like Elaine Bennett. It's not a pretty sight. So we have no rhythm. My girl's got no rhythm. So no balance, no rhythm. That's the second chakra. We're able to go with the flow of life through the passion for life. This person is like, they're not in that, they're in control, dominance. It's like, because there's a lack. And that's because of the attachment style. The parent like didn't form a proper one. It could have been abusive, could have been narcissistic, and where this person had to be a parent before their time, when they should have been a kid. It's like, so they didn't create an identity. They don't know who they are. They don't like who they are, because they're stuck in the trauma of their parents, the ancestral trauma. That's the first chakra in balance, to the point that they didn't create themselves. There's no balance. There's no, so love is difficult, for this person, because those first chakras determine everything. And this person just at a lower vibration, always going to come from a place of lack. That's just a manifestation of how we feel about ourselves. Really, money has no energy except for the energy that we give it. Is how grounded we are, and where we're pouring ourselves, into. If we're passionate about what we do, money comes. Might take a little while, but it'll come. It's like we have to be consistent. We have to be passionate. We have to show up for ourselves. We have to love ourselves. This person's too busy, like thinking that they're going to get the answer through somebody else. And then they're like, you're not it. Next, and it's like, so they don't get close anymore, and that's the problem. And to be in a relationship with someone like that, they're not going to do anything except for, again, like, want you to conform. And if they do anything, they're never going to, like, again, ask for forgiveness, because it's, again, that shows vulnerability. And it's all of what they want to create. It's has nothing to do with you, because this person is hot for you. They have a connection to you, but it's like it's too dangerous for this person to just let you into their life and give you their heart when they don't really believe that. And that's the thing. It's like they need healing. Our society doesn't teach about spiritual healing. Doesn't. It's like, oh, they'll be like, oh, you're angry, like, go to anger management. But there's no spiritual help. So what happens is, people don't integrate the spiritual lesson, and they're just kind of like feel stuck. And it's like, so what happens is like they want to control. And that's the second chakra, again, wanting to control, where spirit says you can't control anything except for yourself. We have to go with the flow of life through our passion for life. That's, again, that birthing center, that chakra. We have to be careful with that center, because ovarian issues, um, prostrate issues, you're also with the adrenals are right there. So a person now is, conditioning themselves slowly to be in survival mode. And that's because, hey, they don't trust themselves. They don't like themselves, because that's what they were taught, and so what you'll have is a lot of rage, and that's what happens, because there's only two energy, love and fear. And fear over time just doesn't feel good. So what it turns into is rage. And that's the thing. So we don't want that. So we have to look at your inner child wound cards to say, hey, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you want to heal. And healing isn't just about doing the spiritual work. It's actually about seeing a different version of yourself. A lot of people say that they do the healing, but then they don't really feel healed, and they don't feel complete, and they still feel fragmented, where that's a sign that you haven't done the healing. And what that's saying is, it's, again, on an emotional level, you're still not taking care of yourself. That physical connection, what we need from our mother and from our father growing up, we need that. It's not like a luxury. It's a need. It's the how well we are going to form attachment. So if your parents were really rigid with their feelings and their emotions, and they had different views than you, and you just didn't do things, or if your parent would try to be your friend and never disciplined you, and you were always right, kind of like what I feel like this person was raised with. When narcissists are raised, it's not that they were raised bad. It's, again, that they grew up in dysfunction, where they couldn't form the attachment. They couldn't form their individuality, their passions, find out who they are, because they were too busy being a parent, and they, because of that, they don't connect well with people on an emotional level. So they detached psychologically and emotionally, because it was too painful. But you're dealing with, like, really ugly energy, someone that's, again, going to be extremely rageful, someone that's angry, that's toxic energy, and it's because this person can't, like, They believe that there's something wrong with them. No one wants to run around and trying to find, someone to fix them, or feel no one wants to feel inadequate either, and that's how this person is. So they spend a lot of time trying to recreate the scenario, and what it would be for you is the same as what you were brought up with. Like, no emotion, like no emotional support. And guess what? The parent was angry, so angry they neglected you. Like, well, your emotional needs were not met. And listen, it was just easy to be invisible, to go low, to not be seen, and so Spirit says you were resilient, because children have to be resilient, very intuitive. You learned how to survive, on the bare minimum, and that's because you had to. No more. That self sabotaging behavior. It's like you're not even recognizing that it wasn't enough right from the beginning, right from the beginning, right from the beginning. And so Spirit's saying it's like that is a second chakra imbalance when we get in our own way. Well, I'm used to that. I know when somebody, that like needs that help, and I have a need and a desire, and Spirit says second chakra imbalance, a need and a desire to help someone when you're not healed means that you really need it for yourself. That desire, you need to give that love to yourself, because this person isn't looking for it. It's like, yes, 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 we know that you grew up in a chaotic environment. Yeah, it was organized. Like, yeah, you went to school and you had food on the table and there was a bed to sleep in, but it was chaotic, when there's emotionally, you can't be vulnerable, and because you're not getting nurtured the way that you should. If that meant any time that you had difficulties dealing with something, well, you would deal with it on your own. And of course, it was overwhelming. So you weren't taught to love yourself, you know? So Spirit says, so you weren't coming from the right, you know, level of consciousness. You didn't know. It's not because, oh, I was deserving it, but unfortunately, we're born into the families that are going to teach us karmically, and we get relationships that replay that karmic theme until we actually heal it. And so Spirit says, but now the beauty of it is you get to heal it. That is, if I can find the cards. It's like, let's see. All right. Well, see, again, the healing, it is not just the awareness of, oh, that's why I attract people like that. And I didn't notice that I was just being friendly. I was just being nice. Every time they reached out, I would talk to them, because I enjoyed talking to them. What's wrong with that? And Spirit says, that's what's wrong. You don't know who you're dealing with. That's the problem. You're thinking that they think the way that you do, and they don't. That person's shady. Remember, you get what you need, not who you are. So if you're in balance where you're so overgiving, and so like, that's why. So we have to transmute the negative energy, and that's by really embodying a new consciousness. Otherwise, it can't, you'll always relive the same karmic cycles over and over and over again. So we look and we see, there's harmony within, there's unshakable faith, there's ascending life and soul's calling. I like that. And facing fear. 3, 4, 5. One more. Bright horizons. So Spirit saying, you had to go back into a situation that kind of recreated, the same thing that you grew up with. because the same dynamic where again you got very little, wasn't treated well, treated where again it was you were accepting of it, but that parent was angry all the time and they didn't talk nicely to you because they were not happy with their own life. So this was about facing your fears, going back into the situation again and facing them instead of running from that parent. Otherwise, that parent shows up in a lot of other things. They'll show up at work, they'll show up in friendships, they show up everywhere because what we resist persists. So Spirit says you had to go back into the situation and see that now it would just be an illusion because you're not that child anymore. You can do something now. And part of doing it is again going on your soul's calling. Listen to yourself, like the whispers of your soul. What do you want? What do you want to become? What interests you? What are you passionate about? What do you love? What where do you spend your time? What stirs up your soul? What are you going to be passionate about? Again, this is second chakra healing. That Spirit's saying, like, who are you? Again, listen to like who you are. It's like, and let the path unfold because the path unfolds while you're on it. You don't know things in advance. You can only say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to become. But you're not allowed to say how we get there. And the Spirit says, just make sure you align your actions with your values. Again, always from the highest state of consciousness, always from a place of unconditional love, through compassion, forgiveness, all the higher levels of consciousness that are derived from unconditional love, Spirit says, because you're ascending life, but you couldn't let go of who you were and become who you are unless you integrated the fragmented parts from how you grew up. And so Spirit says, and it was about knowing, hey, I'm deserving of something better. And I have faith that the universe and God is going to bring me what I need, what I want in divine timing. I have faith. So I am standing on that. And it's like because I know who I am, that I've put the time and the energy and the effort into being on your soul's calling, right? This is you pouring into yourself and the path unfolding so that you can actually integrate those fragmented parts because you're not that trauma, but what you are is who you're becoming, Spirit's saying, and that's how you ascend life and move into brighter horizons. Because why the hell would you want to live in the same experience that you grew up with? You wouldn't. That would be a trauma bond attachment, second chakra imbalance. So I should call this one second chakra imbalance, you know? So we leave off with one more message, which is, well, two, because this kind of fell out, so we have to take it. But one more message that you need to know, and that is, see, balance. Find balance in each sphere of life. I am the master of my daily life. Make time to nourish the spiritual and the physical. Bring love to the world by fulfilling the needs of your body and soul. So, what does that actually mean? Again, you have to make your life look like a pizza pie. It's again because you just give too much, Spirit's saying, and you're not balanced. It's again, so by becoming yourself, it takes time. It also takes time to go to work, and it takes time to work out, and it takes time for your spiritual health, and time for friends, and time for passion. That life like should look like an 8 slices of pizza in a pizza pie. And so when someone comes into your life, you're only going to give them a half a slice of pizza. You're not giving them a half a pie or a whole pie because you don't have anything going on in your life. Is that you're taking care of yourself. Spirit said, if you wound up with this person and you're loving this person and they were so sure, Spirit says you weren't loving on yourself. to be balanced in all areas of life. So you could go with the flow in it when life is difficult, because it's your choice of focus that allows you to be grounded. It's that you have support. That's the root chakra here, creating support through making your life look like a pizza pie. Hey, you got friends that you go to the gym with, you got friends in that hobby that you do, you got friends at work, you got friends. It's like support comes from an emotional connection, comes from many different things, but it's something that you need to do for yourself, spirit saying. Otherwise, you're not balanced. And then you can't have serenity. And spirit saying through love, release, and inner work, which you need to do, you'll know peace. Have a gentle view of life and welcome every step with confidence. Remain brave in the face of fear and have the wisdom to let the universe do its work. Because as you do your healing, the universe brings you the people and the situations and the experiences that are going to help you stay on track and make those goals and those dreams into reality. But you don't abandon yourself, spirit says, because A, somebody else going to come along and eventually you're going to want love again, and not that person. But if you're giving so much of yourself, you don't even recognize it, because it's like, well, I was conditioned in an environment to, for survival purposes, I had to give up to survive emotionally or psychologically or whatever it was. And it's not a blame game, but we have to bypass the reptilian mind where we say, where did it come from? The wound. And understand your parents grew up when their parents were going through things that collectively that they had no, they had no control over. And many of them were only taught through religion, which then they went to like a church or a place of establishment and prayed and really didn't see that much results. And it's because the illusion was that God was outside of them when God is inside of us. And the shadows are what makes us feel separate from that divine energy that's inside of us. See, we wouldn't be able to evolve and transcend the limitations of our mind if that spirit wasn't inside of us. It's that spirit part of self that makes us supernatural, where why would you want to even settle, spirit saying, please, for like that? Again, that person doesn't know, they're not healed. And don't teach them by example. A lot of people are like, oh, now I have the answer, let me go show this person. No, 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 no. Show by example, because that's what the person's going to really listen to. That if you ever notice, sometimes your parents or friends or your boyfriend or something, you're like, they don't listen. And the spirit says, show. People listen to show. It's like, because you don't need to say a word. Your actions say everything for you. And what you're saying is, I demand respect. I demand it. Second chakra in balance. When we again don't respect ourselves, we gotta love ourselves. Then we can go with the flow of life because we're in the passion for life, and then you can succeed. Because then what you're saying is, I don't really care. God, take the wheel. Universe, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. Buddha, take the wheel. I don't even know if Buddha was a god, but I mean, you get my drift. Whoever it is for you, take the wheel. And it's like, because I don't want to figure it out. Mohammed, take the wheel. Whoever, just take the wheel, because I don't want to figure it out. And you don't have to, Spirit says. It's up to me, because I'm going to bring you the people, the situations, and the experiences that change your mind and your heart and your soul about what you perceive you can have, that actually will help transcend the limitations of your mind. So it's a faith walk. It's a faith walk. You're not going to know in advance, but you must love yourself enough to try. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for joining. If you resonated, Give the video a like. It's good karma. And again, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.